This is California. I'm a titty fuck. So just, this is some improvisational comedy. Is there anybody in the audience? Anyways, so I'm just looking around at some of these posters I have. Oh, look at that. There's a poster of the movie Popcorn. Who saw the movie Popcorn? Starring, it's Popcorn, starring Jill Schoen and Tom Villard. Buy a bag, go home in a box. You got to see the movie Popcorn. Have you seen the movie Popcorn? You must see it. It's a really trippy, kind of surreal, bizarro experience. It's well worth whatever price you pay for it because it'll enrich your soul and set you reeling. And your mind is going to be transported to some kind of plane of existence where you're surrounded by enormous breasts squirting milk at you. No, I don't know. Maybe. You'll just have to find out for yourself. Um, so okay, what should I say? I'm trying to do some live improvisational comedy. Well, what else is there? What, hmm. I would have to say that, okay, let's just pretend you're in a taxi cab in New York City. It's a taxi cab from hell. Okay. Taxi cab from hell. New York City. Who's the driver? Um, just some guy. So you're sitting there with, so you're driving down the street in a taxi, and let's say it's like 1990. And you're driving past the Ed Sullivan Theater where the David Letterman show is taking place. It's like not so yeah, so like 1990, okay? And David Letterman, his guest for the evening is, let's say, who the hell would his guest be for that evening? I'm just thinking 1990. Who are some of the guests that he might have had in 1990? The Amazing Kreskin. Let's just say it's the Amazing Kreskin. He's the guest at the it's a late show with David Letterman, starring David Letterman with Paul. What was his name? Paul Schaefer. That was his sidekick, right? That guy, that bald guy with the. He was funny, wasn't he? They were both funny. And then remember some of the. Let's take a walk down memory lane. You remember some of the skits that David Letterman did? Do you remember when he was? Do you remember the time that he covered his? He had some kind of like weird contraption where he covered his. He was wearing some kind of suit covered with Alka-Seltzer tablets. Some of them were glued to the suit or something like that. He had a suit like lined with Alka-Seltzer tablets. Okay, then there was a giant vat of water, and somebody like lowered him into the water, and you could see like all the fizz coming off of the suit. It was just like a really cool effect. He used to do stuff, really cool stuff like that. Then he had like stupid human tricks, stupid pet tricks. Then he had what else did he have? He did stuff like it was just a fun show, and I wish it was still on the air because it was just so fun. But I'm thinking, they remember the Amazing Kreskin? He used to do all these bizarro magic trips. Like he could actually, I think he was able to, um, he was able, if I'm not mistaken, he was able to make the whole Ed Sullivan Theater vanish for like a few seconds. It would just vanish. If I'm not mistaken, the Amazing Kreskin on the Late Show with David Letterman show, he had the ability to make the entire Ed Sullivan Theater and all the people that occupy it vanish for a few seconds. And when they reappeared, they were all wearing each other's clothes. So I don't know, maybe Paul Schaefer was wearing David Letterman's clothes, and I guess they were a little baggy on him and too big. And then David Letterman, because David Letterman was a lot taller than Paul, isn't he? I think so, yeah. Schaefer. And David Letterman's wearing Paul Schaefer's clothes, and they're like, it looks like, they're just way too tight. They're way up his sleeves. So, do you remember that though, when the Amazing Kreskin did that? And it was just a good. It was a great thing, to after a long day of work. It's just what you needed. You needed laughs. You needed like these kinds of like positive vibes flowing through your in and out of your core, and just kind of like through your transom. You just needed these positive vibes. You needed these laughter, this comedy, this kind of like otherworldly feeling that kind of like sets you on some kind of like path towards enlightenment, a path upon which your enlightenment would guarantee that you did attain some kind of um, immortal, eternal reward in the land of like golden slumbers somewhere. Well, when I say golden slumber, what I mean is that you get to luxuriate on fields of ever present, numinous pleasure that is both physical and spiritual. And, it just, that's kind of what the show did for me. It just kind of like, it was very transcendent. Anyways, so okay, so getting back to my original point though, so you're in a taxi cab in New York, and so the amazing Kreskin runs out of the out of the theater, and you see Paul Schaefer and David Letterman getting out for the evening, and it's kind of funny because when you see him on the show, he's just like really goofy and kind of like laid back and easygoing, but the look on his face almost looks like irritated when he's walking out of the theater. It's like, just fuck off. It's like, I just want to get home. So it's kind of it's a funny contrast because like in the theater, when he's in the theater, he's just like really kind of like charming, and and then when he gets out, he's just, hey, what the fuck's a tag? Can I ever catch a cab around here? And he's just kind of like all crabby and everything. But it's kind of a funny contrast. But so um, So then, Paul Schaefer's coming out of the theater, and David Letterman, and also, uh, um, what's that guy's name? What was that older guy's name? Um, Larry Bud Melman. So they're all just kind of like, they just want to get the fuck out of the city for the evening, go back to their homes. So why isn't there anybody listening to this right now? Anyways, so you're sitting in the taxi cab, and the amazing Kreskin, he climbs into the cab with you, and he says he could perform a feat of magic the likes of which not only have never been seen by mere mortals, but the likes of which um, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Okay. The likes of which. Okay, here's what he says. He looks to you. He says like, okay, just try to imagine the most beautiful woman that your mind can actually conceive of. The most beautiful, voluptuous, the most sensuous curves, the nicest titties, the nicest ass, pouty lips, beautiful blonde hair, just like, oh, just just these like ruby red pouty lips and really nice legs, just beautiful curves, just porcelain white skin, just a really nice haircut, hairstyle, and let's see. And he says, like, just imagine, just try to imagine that with all the power of your imagination. Try to imagine the most beautiful woman that your mind can conceive of. And he says, and then you say, well, the most beautiful woman I can conceive of is just what you described. And then he says, okay, now go to the payphone on the corner of Madison Avenue and whatever. Call your apartment. Just give yourself give your apartment. Call yourself at your apartment. Then you're like, I what do you mean call myself? I'm not home right now. I can't call myself at home if I'm not home. I'm here in the cab with you, Kreskin. How can I call myself at home? And then the amazing Kreskin looks at you and says, just trust me. Call yourself. Call yourself at home and see who yourself is with. You'll be surprised who you're. It's like, Kreskin, where the hell are you coming up with this new age hooey? That doesn't make an ounce of sense. That's not gonna. No, believe me. Okay, just to humor you, I'll give it a try. So you get out of the cab. So here I am at the corner of Madison and whatever. I'm trying to think what's because I've never been to New York. So Madison, I know there's a Madison Avenue in New York, but let's just say it's like Madison and Lake. That's probably not as there's probably I don't know if there is. Is there a Madison and Lake? Whatever. So you get on the phone. So here I am. I'm on the phone. Okay. I dial it up. Hello, Marvin. What? How is it possible that I'm talking to myself? You're me? How is this even possible? I'm talking to myself on the phone? Marvin, I know it sounds exactly like me. It sure sounds as though I'm talking to myself. I mean, the voice sounds exactly the same. How is it possible that I'm talking to myself? I'm in a cab with the amazing Kreskin, who just got out of the Late Show with David Letterman show, and he just so happened to get in my cab, and he told me to call my apartment, and I'm talking to him, and he said it's going to be you, and sure enough, it is me. But how was it? Because I could really tell because what? There's a few frozen dinners in there. What? Beggars can't be choosers. What's the kind with the with what? Well, just throw that part of it out. What do you mean? Anyways, okay. Anyways, but what I was gonna say is, who are you there with, Marvin? Oh my God! What, Kruskin? Yeah, he said he's there with the exactly. He described it the exactly the same way that I described it to you. When I said that to picture the most beautiful woman that I could in my mind, I was talking about a beautiful blonde girl with huge tits, alabaster porcelain skin, sensuous, pouty, ruby red lips, beautiful blonde hair, bedroom eyes. That's exactly what he's describing to me. He said he is me, and he's there at home with. So Kreskin, okay, I'll see you later. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Kreskin, what I'm what I just don't understand is how is it possible that can you explain to me, Kreskin, the scientific principle that explains why um, I'm talking to myself at home. Well, this is the reason. If you look at it at an atomic level, an atom has an exact counterpart of itself in another location. And an atom can exist simultaneously in two places, and it's really tied into the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Really? So that's, but I thought, do these types of like rules apply to not just the quantum level, but on the physical plane of human existence? Yeah. Well, I guess you learn something every day, Kreskin. So anyway, so this has really been informative. It's been okay. Let's see. Um, so that's pretty good.